This giant built a road across the sea, but what happened when he met another? Wait for the ending. What is this legend? The myth of Fionn mac Cumhaill and the giant's Causeway comes from the Irish Celtic tradition and dates back to the early medieval period. It blends heroic themes with humor and centers on the rivalry between two giants, Fionn of Ireland and Benandonner of Scotland, and the creation of a stone path now known as the Giant's Causeway. Who was Fionn mac Cumhaill? Fionn mac Cumhaill, anglicized as McCool, was a legendary warrior of the Fianna cycle of Irish mythology. He led a band of warriors known as the Fianna, defenders of Ireland. He is portrayed as wise, strong, just, and clever, traits that made him one of the most celebrated figures in Irish legend. Among his many tales, the most popular is his encounter with the Scottish giant Benandonner, a story that supposedly explains the origin of one of Europe's most remarkable geological formations, the Giant's Causeway, the start of the rivalry. One day, Fionn heard rumors from across the sea. A giant in Scotland named Benandonner was claiming to be the strongest being alive and boasted he could defeat anyone, even Fionn. Fionn's pride wouldn't let this go unanswered. But how could he reach Scotland? The sea lay between them. So he began to build, placing stone after stone to form a path across the water straight to his opponent. Thus, according to legend, the Giant's Causeway came to be, a stretch of interlocking basalt columns that today stands on the northern coast of Ireland. An unexpected visitor. With the causeway complete, Fionn set off. But before he could reach Scotland, Benandonner had already started crossing the causeway toward Ireland. From a distance, Fionn saw him and was stunned. Benandonner was far larger and more intimidating than he had imagined. Fionn knew he wouldn't stand a chance in direct combat. Luckily, his wife Una was as clever as he was brave. Una's cleverness. When Fionn explained the situation, Una immediately devised a plan. She disguised Fionn as a giant baby, wrapped him in a blanket, and placed him in an enormous cradle. Then she calmly went about her household chores, waiting for Benandonner to arrive. When Benandonner knocked, Una greeted him. Fionn wasn't home, she said, but their baby was inside. Benandonner peeked in and was horrified. If this was the baby, how massive must the father be? Terrified, he fled back to Scotland, tearing up the causeway behind him to make sure Fionn couldn't follow. What the myth left behind. Though there was no battle, this tale is a perfect example of how wit can defeat brute strength. Fionn retained his honor, and Una earned admiration as a woman who protected her household with brilliance and poise. To this day, Giant's Causeway remains in Northern Ireland, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its perfectly shaped hexagonal columns do look like the work of giants, whether by myth or nature. The story lives on, side by side with geological fact, humor, strength, and legacy. The myth of Fionn mac Cumhaill and the Giant's Causeway blends humor, heroism, and folklore. It's one of the few Celtic tales without tragedy. Instead, it celebrates cleverness, warmth, and family. Told orally throughout medieval Ireland and Scotland, and later recorded by monks, it became part of national identity. Fionn appears in many other myths as both a hero and a philosopher, but this story remains among the most vivid and accessible. Even today, tourists standing on the stones of the Giant's Causeway ask themselves, could Fionn really have built this? Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more legends to life.